before I get into my software, I created a business model. I created a model. I created this model about maybe 2, 3 years ago. And basically, after doing so many of these sites and working on so many projects, I began to see patterns. So I said that, well, basically I have a model, right, in terms of how I go about developing diamond e-commerce sites. And this model can be used for any industry actually, but it came to me through diamonds. So I called it the Jico score, borrowing from FICO score of credit. And if you think about credit, there's different, there's different pieces to the puzzle to build credit, from your credit history to the type of credit you have, whether it's revolving credit, um, inquiries on your credit report. So all these different things play a role in terms of the ultimate score. Now, as it relates to diamond development, 35% of it, I give it to the website itself. So for instance, my software 7.0 is only 35% of the pie. Okay. Internet marketing is 30%, marketplace. So for instance, Google, Facebook, Instagram, that's internet marketing. Marketplace, the ability to sell on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, 10%. The admin panel, which is the ability to maintain the website, add products, that's 15%. And then the ERP software, like for instance, like some of the older systems like Edge and White Flash, that's 10%. So you have to have, so all of these components needs, now, as you can see, I put space in between, and the purpose of putting space is that I give each one its own department, each one its own attention. But at the same time, it's in a circle. So at the same time that it's independent, but it also synchronizes with each other. So for instance, if you're using an outdated computer age ERP system that's based on a computer, then that means that it can't communicate with your website. So that means that if you have 6,000 products in an ERP system and you have 6,000 products here, if you drop the products here, let's say you want to add 500 here. Well, ideally, it should be able to add 500 here, but it's not. You're going to have to then turn around and add another 500 here. So whereas with my system, when you input the 500 to Google Docs, it updates the ERP, and then it puts those 500 here, and then it turns around and add another 500 to your marketplace ready to be batched out. So this is the model that I use as a developer. This is a model I created. And again, I borrowed the conceptual framework from FICO score, and then I applied it to what I feel was most relevant in the e-commerce model. Now, and just because it says 10% or 10%, it doesn't mean that you ignore it. It's just like a car, right? A car has many pieces to it. We may weigh an engine higher than the tires, right? Because the engine obviously moves the car. Without it, you can't move it. And I may say, well, the engine is 35% of the vehicle, and I may say the tires is 10%, but it doesn't minimize the value of the tire, because we know that if I blow the tires out, what good is the engine? What good is having a powerful engine if the tires are busted out? No more than if I say that the admin panel is 15%, right? We know that the windshield of a car may not be as valuable, may not have a higher rank as, let's say, a transmission, but we know that if your window is knocked out, how can you properly drive? So the same thing is true here. Just because it's 10%, it doesn't mean that you can undermine